the world that is Alcorn State Braves football as they get ready for homecoming 2021. Big Red Grambling State University rolls in the town for a 2 o'clock kickoff. It'll be on ESPN Plus. We'll talk all about it a little bit later on. We'll kind of recap the UAPB game, go over some highlights with you, and we'll talk about that game. Some things definitely to clean up, and we'll talk about it with Braves head football coach Fred McNair. You can join the conversation. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tallman Radio, and on Facebook as well. Facebook just got back going after being down for most of the day. I think Facebook's back up now, so you can send a question via Facebook. Charles Edmond. A lot to talk about, a lot to unpack, and we'll get to it all coming up after this timeout. We'll be back in 1 minute here on the Braves Sports Network.
Alcorn State University.
COVID-19 has changed how we stomp the yard and feel the beat. How we stroll. How we step. How we show our pride. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
The Fred McNair program. Glad you can join us here on the Braves Sports Network here on this Monday. As we look ahead to Grambling State University, we'll look back at the week that was Braves football, look ahead to Grambling State University, and talk about the SWAC. A lot has changed over the last 48 hours. Grambling pulling off a huge upset over Alabama A&M, Mississippi Valley getting in the win column. Texas Southern getting in the win column. Florida A&M beating Alabama State. It's going to get interesting in the conference, I think, for the next 7 weeks as we go down the stretch. You can join the conversation at 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. And I'm on Twitter, Tallman Radio, and you can also send a question via Facebook. I'm Charles Edmond on Facebook. Glad you can join us however way you might be checking us out, watching and or listening. Facebook just got back up within the last 45 minutes, and we also, as a backup, are on YouTube as well. So you'll be able to check out the program on several different platforms. Our producer on the radio side, Jamario Brooks. Our producer in-house on the video side, Cedric Tillman. And Braves head football coach Fred McNair is here. Coach McNair, good to see you, man. How you doing?
It's a pleasure, Charles. Missed you last Monday, but I know you have some business to take care of back at home and get a chance to go back and see how your parents doing. I think that was a great thing for you, Charles, and I commend you for that thing that you have to go back and see Mama.
Oh, yeah.
You have to go back and see her, man. So just make sure that we're taking care of them.
There's mothers and there's mamas.
That's
which
right.
There is a difference.
That's right.
I tell you what, just this last couple of weeks, I have to admit, I was kind of out of pocket, just because you're used to football every week. And we've had 2 bye weeks, Coach, in these first few weeks of the season. And we got 7 in a row coming up starting Saturday. So get the rest, hydrated, and try to recoup because the grind's about to start.
It is, Charles. The biggest thing is that we got a chance to get some rest and get some of the guys back that we're going to need, and still working on a few guys that we're going to need in the stretch too. So it was a great week for a bye week for us. We had some guys down, and the biggest thing is we get those guys back this upcoming week in terms of playing. Don't know how much they'll play because they're not in shape as well as they should be, but at least they're coming back.
Yeah, and just trying to get some guys healthy. I mean, we've talked about it, with everything happening. This team was banged up a bit the first part of the year.
And you're right, because, hurt people. You know what I'm saying? Means in terms of those hurt people that's out tends to hurt the people that continue to play because they have to take so many more reps during the course of practice and during the course of a game. So, people hurt other players as well. So just getting that fixed, Charles, and I think that should be on the page for this downhill slope going into the rest of the SWAC conference.
And I got a chance when we talked about our trainer situation. When the name came up, I got a chance to see him at practice for the first time today. And I remember he's as tall as I am, almost. Just meeting the trainer for the first time, just talking with the team, and the players were definitely glad. Just to get that going and just to be able to do some other stuff.
And that's the biggest thing. We have an all-Quinn trainer, Charles, and what we have in Rob Young to do the things that we need to get done, and specifically just to get all sports back on the right track in terms of getting healthy and doing things in terms of getting them back on the playing surface at the right time. All sports got a lot of people injured right now and a little bit hurt, but hopefully this will help in terms of getting the players back, the student athletes back to the playing surface.
And this is a busy time. I mean, basketball practice is officially underway. Basketball season starts in about a month and a few days from today. You got softball, conditioning, baseball, brand new baseball coach, of course, football. You've got soccer, you've got volleyball. So there's a lot happening these days.
It is a lot in terms of all these sports, Charles. And the biggest thing is that we need to just make sure that we're taking care of these players in terms of make sure they're hydrated and make sure they're getting the proper training to get back to the playing surface, as I said, So it's going to be a big help for us to get things rolling as all these sports will continue to pile up.
Speaking of piling up, hopefully we can pile up some wins here. We got 7 in a row. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride with 7 straight games starting this Saturday against Grambling. Before we look ahead, our first conversation with head coach Fred McNair since the UAPB game, and coached 2 games, obviously in a 5-day stretch, South Alabama, and coming out of that game, short week of work, getting ready for UAPB. And I tell you what, that second half was about as well as we could possibly play in coming back from 26-7 down. But that first half, that's about as bad as we could possibly play. Offense, defense, special teams, nothing went right, as they say, from the door.
The biggest thing I want to do, commend the fans, the Alkanites, the alumni for their major support in both of those games down that stretch, Charles. South Alabama, the Alkanites and alumni, they showed up. The fans showed up. The Pine Bluff game, they was there. Coach Thornton stayed after the game that Thursday, and he said he talked to some people from Pine Bluff, and he said they thought we had about 10,000 in the stand, the way it sounded during the course of that second half. But just to commend the fans and their support in this program means a lot to these young men that play in this game, Charles. We had to bring our own energy. Without a band, without cheerleaders, we have to bring our own energy. And so the guys kind of get hyped behind the fans that are screaming and things that they're doing. So I really want to appreciate those fans that showed up for those 2 games, and it was unbelievable the way these kids performed during the course of those 2 ball games.
I heard a coach say a couple of years ago, BYOG, bring your own guts.
Exactly right, Charles, and it was a gut check for us during the Pine Bluff ball game. You talk about everything that could possibly happen happened in the first half that went wrong. Offense, defense, special team could be the worst half of football I've been a part of. And to go into halftime down the way we were, and just for those guys to show the character and the guts to come back and fight that second half was unbelievable. Somebody asked me, what did I tell the players, at halftime? It wasn't no big speech, Charles. And I told them that we gave them peanut butter sandwiches and some oranges and watered them down real good. And I just told them the worst half of football we ever had. So let's go out, let's make these last 30 minutes. Let's do it right. Yeah. So they did that, Charles. They responded very well to this coaching staff. And that's what we like about these young men. They never get nervous. They never get down. Because they believe in themselves and what they can do in their effort in playing, and just all they did against Pine Bluff.
Obviously some things to work on. I'm sure you've been working on them the last couple of weeks, but it started off with a 65-yard kickoff return that put them in good shape right off the bat. Yeah,
and then we talked about that, and that's some stuff we worked on during the course of the bye week. And I told the coach we need to work on this week getting Alcorn right, our program right, and then we get to Grambling. in the next week. So just the special teams part, that we did some live stuff during the course of special teams. We moved some bodies off special team, added some to it, just so we can get the job done. I think that personnel-wise, that hopefully this will fit into what we do, and making sure that we're doing the right things as far as the kicks and everything like that too, Charles. So ball placement is a big is a violent part of what our special team can do. And just to have that ball put in the right place, it carries the whole weight of the people that's covering. And so we did a lot of stuff this past week and off week to kind of fix that.
Well, we were down 7-0. That 65-yard kickoff return set up Pine Bluff's first score. They were up 7-0 as Crossley with a touchdown. And then on our first drive, we started at our 26, and then Felix Harper's pass was intercepted by Farmer, and he scampered, 32 yards for a touchdown. Talk about that play. Out on the edge there, Harper trying to throw it out to his right, and Farmer stepped in the lane, jumped up, caught it, and scampered 32 yards.
Yeah, he did. The defensive end peeled off and didn't rush and fell right into it, Charles. And and Felix knows that's his fault. Get the ball up where it needs to be. That won't happen. But he understood that, and we just had to just keep fighting, trying to get the offense going.
It was 14-0 at that point, and then it was 17-0. Did you talk about not being rattled or panicked? What did you say, or did you say anything as you just saw these scores pile up early? 7-0, 14-0, 17-0.
No, the biggest thing is, Charles, offense know we got to move the ball, and just telling Coach Ratton, just keep working. It'll break through, and Coach Thorne, just hold on. We'll get this offense rolling. So just being able to slow those guys down the way the defense did kind of helped the offense till they got to get rolling.
I know you don't make any excuses, but the fact that we played 2 games in 12 days, I'm sure you got back from Mobile at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 somewhere in there, just my guess, but short turnaround time, tough game, South Alabama, short turnaround time for Pine Bluff. Would you say that, and I know you don't make excuses, but can that be accounted for, the slow start, just the short turnaround time?
The biggest thing is, in the offense, we always try to start fast, and that's what we always try to do during the course of each game, is start fast, and in terms of getting off to a great start offensively and getting Felix in a good rhythm to where he can just kind of manage the game as a quarterback. But I wouldn't say that had anything to do with it, Charles. I think we just made some mistakes that we shouldn't have made, and I think that they made us pay for them. So we have to get that straightened out, and I think we did this course of the bye week.
We were able to respond after being down 17-0. Harper to Pringle for 26 yards. So that got us going. Coach, it got on the board, 4 plays, 40 yards, and it was 17-7.
It did, and that kind of gave us a little spark, and just the idea of just scoring, in the first quarter kind of helped us out a whole lot in terms of where we need to be going into the second quarter.
So it was 17-7 at that point, and then Pine Bluff got a touchdown in the first quarter. Skylar Perry to Wilkes for 35 yards, and it was 23-7. So we tried to settle the game down a little bit, Coach. We had them behind the chains, 2nd down and 11, 2nd down and 8, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 9. So we had them behind the chains, but let them off the hook.
We did. Got behind the defender and let the pass go for a touchdown, Charles. And if anybody knows it, they know that we kind of get deeper than the deepest in that coverage.
So it was 23-7 at the end of the first quarter. Boy, Pine Bluff's jumping out fast at the end of the first. We'll take a break here. We'll try to take some calls and some texts and tweets as we roll along. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tall Man Radio, and I'm on Facebook, Charles Edmond. Boy, a wild week in the SWAC. Wild weekend in the SWAC. I think this is just only the beginning. We'll take a break. We'll be back after this timeout here on the Fred McNair Show.
Can I get the now bar, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Let me get a now bar.
Sure.
$1.
Appreciate you.
Got it. Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or
The Fred McNair program here on the Braves Sports Network on this Monday. We'll have a Grambling preview later. Interesting week in the conference this past Saturday. And, Coach, when you're not playing, you get a chance to look at some of the other games around the league. And interesting Saturday, to say the least. And I think it's going to set the table for an interesting and probably a wild finish to this season.
And you're right, Charles. You know, you go down and look at FAMU and Alabama State play. FAMU get a shutout there, and then you come back and you look at Grambling and Alabama A&M, and Grambling come back and just won that ball game. So there's a big thing happened, you know, in the conference. Then Mississippi Valley upset Central
in the final seconds.
So a lot of interesting football. So got a long way to go. Got some games slate, and so we just got to pull this thing together and make a run for it, Charles. And I think that we're capable of doing that now, and making sure the young men's in the right position to win ball game.
As we look at the second quarter, Coach, was 26-7. They added a field goal, 26-7 at the break. So that second quarter, it could have just really got away from us, but we held them to a field goal. How important was that? We were down, but we really didn't want to get down anymore. It was just 26-7.
And that was big, Charles, from just to score a field goal there in the second quarter, because, you know, Bama don't break. Defense, they didn't break. So they did a great job of not letting them score more points there in the second quarter, and just able to hold them down to 3 points in the second quarter. That was really big for us, Charles.
You talked about the speech, very little speech at halftime.
It was. I let the coaches kind of make their adjustments and what they need to do in terms of the second half. And great staff make adjustment to come back out and be more on the positive side than anything in the way they operate and execute. I think they did a great job making adjustments that need to be made offensively and defensively, Charles.
How was those halftime speech like? Is it all you, or just all the coaches in there just kind of get their spiel? How was the halftime speech?
So the first thing goes, Charles, when we go in, I let the coaches have their own group and just talk to them briefly about things they're going to do the second half, and then we'll bring them all together, and I'll say my little 2 cents and
2 cents or 20 cents?
2 cents. Just 2 cents. I say my little 2 cents and let the guys go. But it was good. You know, I think a lot of people think that I really fussed at the young men, but I didn't. I just talked to them a little bit and just told them, you know, it's probably far the worst half that we could ever play, and everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
And so we have 30 minutes to make it right, and I think they took that 30 minutes and made it right, Charles.
Definitely an awesome second half, and we'll get into it here in a moment. But let's go to the phone line, 601-877-6595. I think we have Gwen on the line, I believe. Gwen, good evening. How are you?
Hi, Miss Batman. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Coach McNair, I just want to commend you on an excellent job, the team and your staff. Keep up the good work. Go, Brad.
Thank you, Ms. Gwen. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gwen, as she calls in here. All right, so, Coach, the second half, and I think it's important. A game like that, 26-7, it's either a point of no return. You know, you get down 33-7, it's tough. But if you get a score, you're back in it, and that's exactly what we did early third quarter. Talk about that drive to get us back in the ball game.
It was a good drive, Charles, and the kid responded well, you know, coming out the second half, and we needed that. We needed that, Charles. You know, get the ball in the second half and take the ball down and score. That's the energy that we need. All those 10,000 fans that was there, we needed every one of them. So, and that got us going, Charles, and just that drive there itself helped us out.
But it started on a fumble as Kinsler, who had a big day defensively in that game, came up with a fumble, and that set us up at the 38-yard line.
That is correct, man. I tell you, the defense has been creating turnovers throughout this whole year, Charles, and that's what they strive on. I see them working in practice every day. It's something they work every day in practice, is stripping the ball and creating turnovers. So Coach Thornton does a great job of getting those guys to work and create turnovers. So, and that was big for us.
So with that touchdown, Nico Duffy 7 yards out. It was 26-13 at that point. But then Pine Bluff scored on a punt block, Coach. And we talked about special teams, and we'll kind of get into it as we go along. When we gave up the 65-yard return, I think they averaged 36 yards per return on kickoff, so they had good field position there off the kickoffs. But then the punt block that was recovered by Fleming. Talk about that play.
Well, the biggest thing is our shield didn't stay together, Charles. And what happened was when the guys came in, some guys take certain angles to certain shoulders of our shield. And what happened was the left shield just whiffed. He just whiffed, and the guy came in and made the block. If he just stay up and just hits him, it won't get blocked. But he just whipped the guy, and he was able to come in and get that block for it and score for a touchdown.
So that made it 32-13 at that point, Coach. But then we come right back as we get a touchdown. Pringle, 60 yards on the touchdown. So we came right back, Coach, and was 32-19 at that point.
Just able to get behind the defenders, Charles, and do what Pringles do, and kind of slippery and get behind them and score that touchdown for us. So that was big.
That was 32-19. And maybe to me, Coach, and get your thoughts on this, maybe the turning point in the game. Pine Bluff with 3:45 left got the football. First and goal at the Braves 3, and fourth and goal, they decided instead of taking the 3, they went for it, and it was an incomplete pass. Now, as it turns out, as we have a chance to digest it a little more, Doc Gamble did admit that his kicker was hurt. And so in that situation, he went for it. That's the reason. And a lot of people might not have known until he said it, maybe last week, that his kicker was hurt. But, that incomplete pass on fourth and goal from the 6, I thought that was a huge turning play in the game.
Charles, I credit the defense for every bit of that, Charles. Not to matter whether they're going to kick a field goal or not, but holding them guys 4 downs on the 6-yard line, that was a big stand for us, Charles, and that meant a lot to those guys on that side of the ball. And I commend them for the effort that they put into a first and goal on the 6-yard line and holding for 4 downs. That was a big time stop right there.
Yeah, actually first and goal from the 3. I mean, what made that standoff so special?
Because they go up there, Charles. It's kind of tough for us now. But that stand right there showed the character and the commitment that defense had in making that stop, and they did a good job of doing it.
Then we got the football at our own 6-yard line and went right down the field. Felix Harper's touchdown run made it 32-26 at that point at the end of the third quarter. So, again, Pine Bluff had an opportunity to maybe, make it tough for us. We get a defensive stand, and then we come right back offensively, and we go 94 yards to get back in the game.
And we sustain drives like that, Charles. That's big time. You're talking about 7-play, 94-yard drive, Charles. That's just show what this offense is capable of doing when they're on, and what they're capable of doing in the running game and passing game as well. So just to sustain a 7-play, 94-yard drive, that's big time.
We had a 2nd and 7, and Bowler had a big game on a 2nd down and 7, a 2nd and 4 from Pine Bluff's 11, and then that's when Felix Harper got the touchdown. So 32-26 at the end of the third quarter. We'll recap the fourth quarter coming up here. We have another phone call. Kermit calling in. Good evening, Kermit. How are you on this Monday night?
Charles, I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good, Kermit.
All right, so I just got a statement for Coach McNair, but I'm going to say this first. Wasn't nothing wrong with his kicker. He was just trying to embarrass us. That's what he was trying to do. Okay. But, Coach, what I want to say, Coach, in life, a lot of times when there are problems with things, you can focus on yourself and hurt others. But I have to say, you have so much character, Coach, how you've handled things, and you're not speaking just for the football program. You're speaking for all of athletics. I just want to say that, Coach, you just make me feel so good how you're sticking up for athletics. And that's all I wanted to say, Coach. And I just really appreciate the character that you're showing. Keep up the good work, Coach.
I appreciate you, Kermit.
Thank you, Kermit. We really appreciate it. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll look at the fourth quarter. We'll talk about what we can expect here as far as Grambling is concerned, some things to clean up, obviously, to get ready for Big Red and Grambling as they roll in here fresh off an upset over Alabama A&M at home. Who would have saw that one coming? I certainly didn't, but this is the SWAC. You never know what to expect. So we'll talk about the fourth quarter and how we made that comeback and got the lead and sewed it up. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. We appreciate Gwen and Kermit calling in on this Monday night. We'll be back after this.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
It was 32-26, Coach, and it was kind of back and forth, 38-33. And that fourth quarter is just absolutely amazing. A frenetic finish, a defensive stop. And then at the end, Coach, we made it happen. And as we grabbed the lead, 39-38 late and sewed it up there. But then Harper, the bowler, 69 yards. That made it a one-score game, Coach. And I thought we were able to get the running game going. And, you know, one of the adjustments that we made, I thought, in the first half, Harper in the pocket, but then you spread the pocket. Harper was able to find running lanes and was able to find his receivers as well.
Well, yeah, too, and I think that Nico Duffy showed the character he have in running the football inside too as well. Charles, you're talking about 23 carries for 144. Says a lot about him and the things that he can do with the ball in his hand. So, you know, and on the other side, you know, the biggest thing is that we got to establish a running game. I think that Coach Ratton is committed to that. The things in the running game and also as well, and what personnel we used in that, and just big games out of the receivers as well, Charles. They made some terrific catches and made some big plays.
The defense really had to close the door in the fourth quarter. Pine Bluff got the football with 3:01 left at their own 25-yard line. They were 4th and 7 at the Braves 48, and Skylar Perry's pass incomplete, and it completed a heck of a comeback. So offense, defense stepped up in the second half, and that's why it's a four-quarter football game.
Yeah, you got to play four quarter, Charles, and like I got to tell the guys, the last 30 minutes don't even matter now. Just what you're going to do in this next 30 minutes of football. And I think they did a great job of stepping up, and like I said, the defense really bowled the neck in and made some plays and created some turnovers for us, Charles. And you know, they had 5 fumbles and they lost 4 of them.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, what we can do is we have to take care of the ball on offense as well. And I think we did a great job that we had a fumble, but we got it back. But the biggest thing is that, you know, penalty-wise, we just got to be a whole lot better on penalties and third down conversion. I always talk about third down conversion. And I'm not a guru, child, but fourth down, nobody knows.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody knows. Now, I watched a lot of NFL games this weekend. I saw a lot of fourth down conversion, so I'm not afraid to go for it on fourth down.
No. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Was it Fred McNair, the riverboat gambler, like Rod Rivera? Are we looking at that a little bit? No, but it. I guess what really impressed me was you just once the doors opened up and once we got back in the game, you kind of felt like we were going to take this thing. I mean, just when you got in that fourth quarter, the long drives, it was Braves football in that middle third, all fourth quarter, the defensive stop. You sense that this was going to be Braves football the last 20, 25 minutes of the game, and we're going to find a way to win the game.
Child, that 10,000 10,000 fans behind us, man. I'm telling you, that energized these guys, man. I tell you, the fan base there was phenomenal, man. And they got these guys going. Like I said, we have to make our own energy sometime, and that fan base brought the energy. They brought the energy charge to us.
And it's just amazing when you have the fans behind you. I mean, when you're on the road, tough environment, but when your fans are there, it really provides that extra boost, doesn't it?
That's exactly right. I look at some of the games now that have been played. I watch film and look in the stands. You can see the stands. I mean, there's nobody at those games, but all Corn State University, we're gonna travel.
Yeah.
We got them all over the country.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be there.
Well, it's the bottom of the hour. We have another call coming in here at 601-877-6595. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. The text line's been blowing up. We'll get to some texts coming up as well as we break down this game, turn the page, get to the texts and tweets, and we'll look ahead to Grambling. Bottom of the hour, Cedric Foster calling us from Tallahassee, where Florida A&M just took it to Alabama State. That was pretty bad if you're a Bama State fan. It was pretty bad, I must say. Good evening, Mr. Foster.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well.
Coach, I want to give you and the staff a shout out. I think this Friday is Coach's Day. And I want to just say continue to do what you do. You're doing a fantastic job. I want to commend you. Wife and I, we drove down to Mobile for that game, and I just couldn't believe that it took an hour and 20 minutes to get that thing started. I thought that was a great idea to take them inside the locker room, and because I know the guys were ready to go. They were ready to go, and I thought that was a good move. And that Arkansas game, I wasn't worried. I just kind of felt that we was a second-half team, and I just knew we was going to come back. But, Coach, I do have one question I want to ask you. Mm-hmm. I'm noticing that with HBCU football and other universities, you know, some of the kickers on kickoff, they're not putting the ball in the end zone, you know, like the NFL players. And I noticed that sometimes on those kickoffs, the guys will take it at maybe the 10, maybe the 15-yard line, and they fair catch it. And so it'll go out to the 25. And I just wanted to know, I know we did that a couple of times too, and I just want to know what's the deal on that? And I'm gonna hang up and listen.
Yeah, actually,
go Braves.
Actually, the first kick was supposed to be an end zone kick, Kermit, Mr. Foster, but we just didn't get all of it, and he missed it and put it in a place that it shouldn't have been. So we always try to aim for the end zone. He can kick it in the end zone too as well, but a lot of times when he misses it real bad. But he's been working on that during our course of the off week. So hopefully we got all that fixed for this Grambling week.
All right. Cedric Foster, we appreciate you calling in from Tallahassee. Good to hear Cedric Foster's voice. Well, Coach, let's look at the game here. Let's go inside the numbers. Felix Harper, I think he had maybe 50 yards passing in the first half, threw for 368, over 300 yards in the second half, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Just talk about how he was able to hang in there.
Well, the biggest thing is he got a big heart. Liz stature with a big heart, Charles, and he want to do everything the right way. And I think that's what makes him overcome the struggle he had in the first half. Just going back out and just making it right. Finding opening guys and making completions and getting in a rhythm. We talk about as a staff to get him in position to be in a good flow of the game. I think that's what we did the second half and being able to come out and get him in a good rhythm.
We'll be talking with Felix Harper on the pregame show at 1:30 on Saturday. The running game, Coach, I thought the second half, Braves football, 143 yards rushing the football, led by Nico Duffy. And you really made a concerted effort without Stafford Anderson yet again. And we'll talk about his status going forward here in a little bit. But Nico Duffy, boy, he was a load, wasn't he?
It was a load. He's a big load, all 166 pounds of it, So he's a big load. Like I said, he's a small guy with a big heart too, Charles. He can run the football as well. outside in between tackles and all. So, but he's committed to what he's doing, and he did really well in pass protection. You can't believe he had about like 7 knockdowns on linebackers and defensive ends. So that just show what kind of heart and character he has.
And the running game is just so stout. I mean, we didn't have Stafford Anderson. You talk about Duffy, Leatherwood. Just talk about him getting him some more touches, or it's only one football. There's only so many players you can get those touches to in the backfield.
That's right. We got a lot of guys in the backfield, Charles, that they're gonna get some touches. Like I said, it's just only one football. Leatherwood, he's a freshman. Been doing some great stuff for us. Coach Boo's got him down to where he can really play, and so commend him on that. Getting to where he can just come in and spill us over when we need it, Charles.
You talk about throwing the football, what Felix Harper is able to do. 2 receivers with over 100 yards. Give us the story behind the Vanderbilt transfer, C.J. Bowler. I mean, we know what Pringle can do. He had 126 on 4 receptions. I mean, he's been money. He had a couple of touchdowns. But Bowler, 151 yards on 5 receptions.
And actually, that was his first game back, Charles, since the Central game. We didn't get a chance to play him in the South Alabama game. And Charles in the Northwestern game. So he did a great job of coming back off his injury and making some big plays for us, and needed addition to the receiving core right there. So you talk about 5 catches for 151, and the longest is 69 yards. So he did a great job of catching the football for us, and going to be a great receiver from Vanderbilt. Actually, he's from down in Purvis down there in Mississippi, down in Hattiesburg.
On the special teams front, you have Beauplan, 5 punts. Let's talk about where you are with him at this point in terms of punting the football.
Just coming in, Charles, and we expect the big things out of Beauplan, and getting his average up to where it needs to be. I think some of that could be minimized if we convert on 3rd down. We can cut some of that punting out. If we convert on 3rd downs, but he's doing a good job for us. Ball placement, some he's missing, but just the consistency part that we're missing it with him, because we know he can punt the ball.
Manny Jones, 3 kickoff returns for 105 yards there, averaging 35 yards per return in that category. On the defensive side of the ball, Coach, Kayron Kinsler with 12 tackles, Cheerless with 9, Juwan Taylor with 7, Solomon Wise with 4. And we did have some injuries on the defensive side. Edgston, we'll talk about him coming up. So give us, your thoughts on Kinsler and the job that he did leading the team with 12 tackles.
I call those guys a thumper, Charles. They can bring that hat, and Kinsler, he can really bring that hat down to you. So he's doing a great job, Charles. He's a real quiet player. Don't talk as much, but we make him captain every week, so he have to talk. During the course of pregame meal. So last pregame meal, he said, I think y'all just make me captain so y'all can hear me talk.
Yeah.
So he's doing a great job. Those guys on defense, Cherry Loose, those guys, the linebacker core, Coach Thornton and Coach Matt Brown doing a great job with those guys in the linebacker core. Man, they're very fast and doing a job for us. Up front, we got the guys up front, defensive end, Korean. Just doing a great job, Charles, in what they do up front.
And speaking of up front, Felix Harper, for what he did, was sacked 6 times. What do you got to do to clean up that area? Because Gramblin's going to bring pressure. I saw that definitely on Glass, and Glass put it on the ground. Glass threw some picks. So Grambling got the pressure up front against Glass. What do we got to do as far as protection? Are you worried about that?
We got to clean up the protection. We got to clean up the protection, and I think that's going to help a whole lot in terms of what we're doing up front, Charles, and identifying where we need to go with the line, and also, too, him holding the ball a little bit too long, too. Coach Gray don't teach that, to hold the ball. So we get the ball out on time and make sure we're throwing it to the right place. But I think we just going to make sure that we clean everything up front. Hopefully we'll have Joey back this week, our starting center. But he probably won't start for us, but just give him some more reps and in terms of him coming back this week.
How important is that? Okay, we talk about protection, or sometimes lack thereof, but how important is that center position in the grand scheme of things of protection?
It's big time, Charles. You have to identify the Mike backer and which way the line slides and which way the man side is. And I think that's a valuable spot. It's almost like a quarterback, Charles. You got to make those calls, and whether we're in the running game or passing game, there's certain calls you have to make to identify, and that way the whole line know which way to go. Just like synchronized swimming.
Yeah.
You got to be on the same accord.
And on special teams, Coach, before we put a capper on the UAPB game, they averaged 37 yards on kickoff returns, 4 for 148. You break that down, that's 37 yards per return. How do we improve that?
Well, the biggest thing is, we just got to cover and make sure that we doing the right things and covering our lanes and doing the right things of tackling the ball carrier when we get a chance, But the biggest thing is we just got to make sure that we're getting the ball tackled and doing what we have to do and run with speed. A lot of times you always talk about beat them with speed. And so that's some of the things that we worked on during the course of the bye week to make sure that the special teams and those categories get taken care of this week.
And you said earlier in the show, for those who might have missed it, you worked quite a bit on that the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we did, Charles, and we went live with some of it too, Charles. We try to find the guys that are going to be able to protect in the putting game and also go down the field and make tackles on kickoffs too as well. So, but like I said, it started off with the kick. We just got to make sure we're doing the right thing. So, other than that, we did a lot of stuff to get the special team stuff corrected.
How was the trip home, Coach, from Pine Bluff? We stayed, obviously, we left because we had a high school game, but how was that trip, coming from behind? I'm sure that was a pleasant ride home.
Charlie, I think everybody just went to sleep. I think they were pretty much exhausted from that second half.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say the first half because they didn't do nothing the first half. So they exhausted a lot of energy the second half, and I would say everybody was tired. And after eating that chicken and fish and stuff and ribs, I tell you, that was a fine dinner they ate after the game too as well. And also too, want to thank those alumnus who sponsored the halftime energy food to us too, Charles. I think that kind of picked us up a little bit for halftime with the peanut butter and oranges and things of that nature. So those things don't go unnoticed with this program. All the people involved with people that helps us to develop these young men and get them what they need to make this thing work. So I do want to thank those fans.
I tell you what, the point giving challenge, that all that money in the bucket with us scoring a bunch of points, especially in the second half, that added up as well.
And that's a great thing too. I didn't really notice until probably the coming back from the Central game that they was doing the point challenge stuff, and the biggest thing about that, we just got to score more points. So, we got to score more points, and I thank the people that started that, and for the foundation, for the Tomorrow Club, and all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate the things that they're doing to help this program along the way to provide them with things that we need to do to be successful.
All right, back to the phone lines we go. Virgil joining us here on the Fred McNair program. Good evening, Virgil. How are you?
Hey, good evening, Charles. How you doing? Virgil, Oliver, Atlanta.
How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing just fine. Hey, Coach, great job you doing with the team and everything. But I do have a question on that defense. Are we going to, two questions. Are we going to blitz more on Grambling? Because Grambling is not going to play around with us. We got kind of a little curse with them. So I just want to know how we're going to approach them in terms of this wonderful homecoming weekend.
I don't know. I think what we're going to do is try to come out and play as hard as we can, and not to show our hands and the things that we're going to do, and make this a very successful game for us to win for homecoming, Virgil. You don't want to show your hand before it's played, but we're gonna do the things the right way. I think Coach Thornton is working on some stuff to kind of get to that quarterback and get to that little running back they got back there. So I think the defense is gonna play really tough this game, and they know what's at stake here. That's the biggest thing. Just having a meeting this morning, and with those young
Coach,
men.
What about our kicking? Are we improving on that?
Yeah, that's what we worked on all the bye week. We worked on Alcorn the whole bye week. Special team, defense, and offense.
Okay, I appreciate it, Coach.
All
All right, Virgil.
And thank you, Charles. And, Coach, good luck on Saturday.
I appreciate you, Virgil.
Virgil, we appreciate you calling in. Virgil, Cedric, Foster, Kermit, and Gwen calling in. We appreciate it. We got time for another call or two, 601-877-6595. But we'll get to the text and the tweets coming up and a Grambling preview coming up after this timeout here on the Fred McNair Show.
It's important.
I surrender.
All right, pal.
Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's up?
Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
Can I play with it?
No, absolutely not. It's not a toy. You know that. Anyway, I need it to protect you, your sister, and Mom.
But what about the 8 kids who get shot every day by mistake?
Where'd you hear that?
Where do you keep it?
It's hidden.
I bet it's on the top shelf of the closet, under your sweatshirts. Is it loaded? Remember when I found my Christmas gift? You always told me to be curious.
No, that's not what I meant.
And when it's just me and Mom, I could use the gun to protect her.
No, Justin, I promise. I'm always here for you.
But Dad, you're not always here.
Welcome back to the Fred McNair program. You can chime in, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. And you can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tall Man Radio. Speaking of the Twitter feed, Coach Fred McNair, Andre Young tweets in terms of kicking. Coach, we saw the place kicker kick the ball to the end zone during the North Carolina Central game. Have we gotten away from that?
No, we haven't. And that's the thing that we worked on during the course of the bye week as well, is kicking the ball in the end zone. So he's capable of doing it. All our kicks is normally, except the sky kick, supposed to go in the end zone. So we just got to make sure that he's hitting the ball right. And I think he worked on that during the course of the bye week. And just watching him kick during the course of the bye week with a strong leg, I think we'll be able to do that.
How would you assess the punt and kickoff returns that we've had so far?
I'll tell you what, Manning just a shoestring away from breaking one, Charles. And I think that what we need right now is just that extra second of sustaining a block before we break one. And this may be the weekend that we get one in on punt or kickoff return, Charles.
And on the injury front, we got a text, 601-348-7254. Well, will Austin Bolton play on Saturday?
Yeah, Austin been working this week. He's been working this week, Charles, and the things that Austin Bolton won't be playing this week because he out nursing a concussion.
So Austin Bolton.
Austin Bolton will not be playing this week, so he's out nursing concussion.
All right.
We got two Boltons.
Yeah, you get Jonathan and Austin.
Jonathan and Austin, yeah.
It is completely understandable. From the Twitter feed, Mr. T tweets, and of course, this is a big homecoming game, and I heard coaches all the time say homecoming's not for the players until it's over. So the question for Mr. T, will the team be staying on campus or off campus to get away from the distractions?
No, they'll be staying on campus. We decided to just keep them on campus. We'll have them monitored during the course of the week. They know what's in place, and the biggest thing about this group of young men here, they very dedicated in doing the things the right way, Charles. And I think that what we have provided for them is an opportunity for them to come out and play against a real good Grambling team and have a good showing and things of that nature. But we'll monitor these guys very well, and just having a meeting with them this morning, and they understand everything, Charles. They know the outcome of this game could be very severe either way.
Yeah, it's a huge game in the Western Division, considering what has happened over the last couple of days. Alexis Smith tweets in, Coach, we have 2 D-line coaches. Have you thought about adding an offensive line assistant?
Well, not right now. I think Coach Radden has been doing a great job of handling those guys. He's the offensive line coach and the offensive coordinator, but he does a real good job with those guys. And I watch him coach them and during the course of practice, and these kids respond really well with him in terms of what he's trying to get out of them.
And talking about the quarterback situation, we know what Felix did against UAPB 368. And again, Alexis Smith talking about the backup quarterback. You talked about that off and on so far. Was that?
The backup position is very important. I think the backup position is more important than the starter. Because when the starter go down, you don't want to miss a beat there, Charles, as the backup. And I think we got two young men that's really been battling. Octavius Quinn and Trey Lawrence. They've been battling for that number 2 position, and every day in practice I see them grow with the things that Coach Gray is presenting to them at that quarterback position.
We appreciate all the texts and tweets that have come in here on this Monday night. We'll try to squeeze in another one or two and maybe a quick phone call. You give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. I'm on Twitter, Tallman Radio, and Facebook, Charles Edmond. I know Facebook was down for most of the day, and some people couldn't take it, including me. When Facebook goes down, what do you do with yourself?
Oh man,
yeah, that's exactly right, oh man. But I think it's back up and running as we speak.
So I don't even have Facebook or Twitter.
Really?
I don't even fool around with it, man.
You're not a social media person.
What y'all use that for?
It's social media. It's social.
Well, see, the reason I don't have it, I try to tell my players, why y'all need that? I don't have it. Why y'all need it?
Well, there is you can reconnect with friends, connect with friends. There's some news and stuff out there. I mean, it can go the other way, of course. The social media can be not such a good thing, but if it's done the right way, just like anything else, if it's used the right way, utilized the right way, Facebook and Twitter can be a great thing. And I can share a story with you. And Cedric Tillman, our producer, sitting over here, you can't see him, but I was scared, Coach. I was not scared, frightened of social media because of all the negative stuff and how people can get on you on social media and can put your business out there. When Cedric Tillman, coming back from Alabama State one year, said, Charles, just try it and see what happens. and on the drive home, because I was driving back from Montgomery, he actually set up my Facebook and Twitter page in the car, coming back from Alabama State. A true story. And you know what? I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? So yeah, it can be a good thing if utilized the right way.
Yeah, I have Twitter on the school phone, and that's because of recruits and stuff like that. But on my personal phone, I don't fool around with Facebook, Twitter, or nothing like that, man. I'm just a call away or a dial away. You know, I just use the phone.
Well, I can say this on my Twitter page before we take a break. There have been some high school kids that I guess they see, and I put a lot of Alcorn stuff on there, football stuff and highlights, whatever. They follow me, I guess, because of Alcorn football and the success that we've had.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
We'll take a break here. Speaking of awesome, we're going to have an awesome crowd coming up on Saturday as Grambling rolls into town. We'll talk about it after this. Time out here on the Fred McNair Show.
It's not just the ships, the armor, or the aircraft. It's something more. It's the will to fight and determination to win, found inside each and every Marine that answers a nation's call. Battles won.
It's been difficult because I hadn't been able to see my grandchildren.
I can't wait to get back to field trips with my school.
Not having to think about putting on a mask.
I really can't wait to get back to life, really.
I miss all my friends. I miss taking pictures in school.
An expression on someone's face when you do something nice for them.
COVID-19 vaccines are available, and they're the first step to safely getting back to things we miss most. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision about COVID-19 vaccines.
Let's get right into it as Grambling rolls into town, coming in here Saturday at 2 o'clock. By the way, Fred McNair got me right there. Fred McNair just slipped one in on me. Got me. But, all right, let's talk about Grambling. Let's get down to business here. The G-men roll in here. Probably, and I put this post on Facebook the other day, and just what the heck. Just throw it out there and see what people think about it. You know, which was the bigger upset? You know, Grambling beating Alabama A&M or North Carolina Central beating us? I mean, we were a 17-point favorite to beat Central. We know what happened there. You know, Valley won, and Grambling, clearly a team that didn't score for 2 games against USM in Houston, struggled against Prairie View to score. Then they start this freshman quarterback, Noah Bowden. He was highly recruited. He was the best quarterback in the city of New York coming out of high school. And Broderick Fobb said, what the heck, let's roll the dice. And it paid off, 15 of 32 for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he got the start, and they got the win. So let's talk about Grambling. What is it that we got to worry about here?
I tell you what, Charles, Grambling have been very good. The things they do. I think Coach Finn, you got pregame meals coming up as well. So it's kind of tough. But just take us back to the old Henderson Stadium.
Yeah.
get up in the morning time, go eat breakfast at 7 o'clock, and go to the stadium and get kick off at 11. So I wouldn't mind having one of those games.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m. kickoff. I mean, we did in Arkansas one year. We did in Arkansas. I think
please don't remind me.
My Ricky Jib coaches, that 11 o'clock kickoff, and I tell you, it was just so close, Charles. But we need to have one of them, Charles. Can you make it happen, Charles?
No, I can't make it happen. And I'm not going to make that one. You know what? That Arkansas trip, I can share that one. We had a game. We had a game in Vicksburg that night. Had to pick up Cedric Tillman in Greenville and drove to Little Rock. And we got there like at 3 o'clock in the morning. We got up like at 6 or 7. And of course, you know, they had folks lined up outside the stadium trying to deal with parking and all that. Yeah, like 3 hours sleep, Coach.
Geographic-wise, Charles, Vicksburg, Lawman.
Yeah.
Vicksburg, Lawman.
Yeah.
You got up for the drive.
Yeah. That was a drive I hated to make. I must say.
You can make that happen, Charles. 11 o'clock.
No, sir. No, how about
the radio sound good in the morning time?
Yeah, hey. We'll talk about that another day. Finally, Coach, when you're looking at these games this week, you know, Valley Bethune, Southern, Texas Southern and Arlington, big game there. South Carolina State, FAMU, big game there. Every team, 11 of them in a row coming up. We've had 2 bye weeks already, and no more bye weeks until the end.
And the biggest thing is, Charles, just making sure these young men taken care of health-wise and on this run. That's the biggest thing for us, and making sure we got bodies to practice and getting these guys out and getting them to the game, Charles. That's going to be the biggest thing.
And another big thing, you look at the Wild Wild West. We're in the Western Division. Prairie View 3-0. We're 1-0. Southern's 1-0. Grambling 1-1. Texas Southern 0-1, and UAPB 0-2. Should be interesting here as we get into the meat of the season. Coach, we appreciate it. Let's go get them.
Thank you, Charles, and go Braves.
And as Emmanuel Barnes and Dean Bolden once said, and it's homecoming. Should be a lot of fun. 2 o'clock kickoff. It will be on ESPN Plus. Santoria Black will have the call of that game on Saturday. That'll do it for the Fred McNair program. We'll talk to you this time next Monday night. We'll recap the Grambling game, and then we head to Mississippi Valley. The Delta Devils, what about their win in the final seconds against North Carolina Central? Should be a lot of fun there as Mississippi Valley, of course, in action. They play down in Daytona this week. So we'll be talking about Coach Dancy's team this time next week. Have a good one. Enjoy homecoming. We'll talk to you next Monday night. For our producers, Cedric Tillman and Jamario Brooks, Coach Fred McNair, Charles Edmond, have a good one. We'll talk to you next Monday night.